Now, thanks to Direct Line Landlord Insurance, tonight we're discussing the importance of having insurance. I'm joined by Nick Breton from Direct Line for Business to talk about this further. So welcome, Nick.
Good evening, Clive. Hello, thank you.
Good to have you here.
Thank you.
Why do you need specialist insurance if you're a landlord?
Well, landlords face risks and responsibilities and costs which ordinary householders don't, but which specialist landlord insurance is designed to cover. There are lots of things. So, for instance, the responsibility to provide alternative accommodation and to rehouse tenants if the property becomes uninhabitable, flood or a fire or subsidence or damage. Also, landlord insurance provides public liability insurance for claims or losses suffered by tenants, and also provides for any settlements which are awarded to them. So basically, they are paying customers, and you need to be appropriately insured. Also, specialist landlord insurance will provide add-ons, many options, such as a malicious damage cover if the tenants leave a leaving present by way of damaging the property on the way out, and also, very, very importantly, legal expenses to help defray the costs of defending yourself if they bring a legal case against you.
What about home insurance? Would that cover you if you were renting out a property?
Usually not, no, because landlords need to cover letting to tenants, as I say, who are paying customers, rather than simply living with family members. So they'll need to cover the losses and the damage and the risks of injury or accident or loss of rent, which may be caused, which may be suffered. And ordinary household insurance just isn't designed to do this at all.
What do you need to make sure then that your policy includes?
Well, there are many standard elements, of course, to specialist landlord insurance, and there are quite a few optional add-ons. So it is, of course, very important, as with any insurance, to understand exactly what you've got, what you're covered for. Do you have the cover that you need? The main elements of landlord insurance will, of course, cover buildings and contents, if the landlord wishes to cover any contents, if it's a furnished or partially furnished apartment or house. Also, they need to make really sure that they've got the public liability insurance in place for any costs or claims which may be brought against the landlord for accident or injury or damage suffered by tenants, and quite often caused by tenants, such as malicious damage perhaps. They need to consider whether they want accidental damage cover, whether they also want or need boiler repair or replacement cover. And of course, as mentioned, they need to look out for, does the policy provide for alternative accommodation and loss of rent, which the landlord may suffer. So having to provide alternative accommodation to tenants and suffering loss of rent if the property becomes uninhabitable following an insured event such as a flood or fire or subsidence. And
quite often, of course, landlords have more than one property. So do you need a separate policy for each of those properties?
No, of course. You can certainly check with your insurer. So Direct Line, for instance, in common with many other insurers, will allow portfolios to be insured on the one policy, so up to 10, 15, 20, 25 properties even on the one policy. Brings a lot of advantages, of course, in terms of keeping them all together. You've got one renewal date, one set of policies, and you don't have range insurance on what could be 15 or 20 properties throughout the whole year, just one nice clean date. And check whether the insurer, such as Direct Line, does also provide multi-property discounts. So you bring in 2, 3, 4 properties, getting a discount each time you bring one.
And of all the potential problems, then, what would you say are the key risks that landlords need to make sure that they're covered for?
Well, as well as the ordinary risks which householders and homeowners need to consider, such as covering themselves against the risk and the cost of fire or flood or subsidence, landlords need to think about anything that could go wrong with tenants. As I say, they are paying customers. They're not friends of you. They're not family. Not always friends. And many tenants will try and bring claims against landlords if they've suffered accident or injury, or if their possessions have been damaged in the property. So these are key risks. Also, of course, landlords, that their property is their rental property is their income, and they need to see how they can cover themselves for loss of rent if that property ceases to provide an income or a rent because it's been rendered uninhabitable. So these are all risks which should be considered and which in most cases can be covered.
Great, Nick, thank you very much indeed. Thanks for coming in, and thanks to Direct Line Landlord Insurance. For more information and for the chance to win a tech bundle, go to lbc.co.uk. It's the Property Hour. Paul Champlina and